So, for those of you that saw that incident with the realtor showing the family the home, well, this is a new development on that issue. Police stand by the officers who detained estate the estate agent and the clients viewing the home. And so let's get into this. And so police stand by officers who detained the black real estate agent and the clients that were viewing the home. And so I know a lot of people saw this, and there was a lot of criticism around it. So this is by Char Adams. So police stand by officers who detained the black real estate agent, clients viewing home. Police in Michigan are standing by a group of officers who drew their guns on and handcuffed a real estate agent, a potential home buyer, and his 15-year-old son, all three of whom are black and were touring a home on a Sunday. And so for those of you that saw this story, officials with the Wyoming Public Safety Department said in a statement that the officers acted appropriately when they surrounded the Wyoming home and demanded that the three come out after they received a call about a home invasion at the location. So after a thorough internal review of the actions of each of the public safety officers who responded to this incident, we have concluded that race played no role in our officers' treatment of the individuals who were briefly detained, and our officers responded appropriately, the statement said. So Eric Brown, who is 46, of Grand Rapids Real Estate, was giving Roy Thorne and Thorne's son, Sammy, a tour of a two-story home in the early afternoon when he saw police officers circling the property with his guns drawn. Brown has told NBC News. So Brown had access to the lockbox that held the house key and let himself in, as he usually does when he is working as a real estate agent, he said. What Brown didn't know was that a man had been detained on suspicion of having illegally entered the home about a week earlier. So a neighbor had spotted Brown entering the house and called the police, telling the dispatcher that the man was back there again. So his car's sitting out front, according to the audio of the call. So this apparently is what the neighbor said. So apparently the suspect black's Mercedes resembled Brown's black Genesis, police said. So this is a case, in other words, what they're saying, of mistaken identity, which is extremely dangerous, because had they had assumed that he was the one they were looking for, it could have went a whole nother way, which is unfortunate. So at least 5 patrol cars were on the scene, and Brown, Thorne, and Thorne's son were handcuffed, all three of them. Body cam video shows the three exiting the home with their hands up in the air, surrounded by patrol cars blocking the street. So Brown said he believed that he, Thorne, and Sammy were being racially profiled. So after Brown convinced them that he was a real estate agent by having an officer take out his wallet to find that his business card and showing them he had retrieved the key from a lockbox at the home, the officers removed the handcuffs immediately and apologized and said. Brown said that he feared for his life, adding that Sammy was clearly terrified and traumatized by the situation. So I went from being afraid for my life to shell shock to this is not right, to now slightly angry, he said. I felt definitely guilty of breaking into a house, and I had keys to do it. So the country is in a time of racial reckoning, heightening by a summer of protests against systematic racism and police brutality following the death of George Floyd in police custody. So Brown said that he and Thorne are speaking with a lawyer about all of this. But Wyoming police said a review found that the officers did nothing wrong. So officials said their actions were in accordance with the department policy and the training. And so I want to stop. This article is about to end. So I know what people are thinking. And this is a bad situation. It could have got even worse if someone had gotten shot. But what makes this even more sickening is that whoever these neighbors were calling the police, they might be one of the main focus of this whole incident, because had they not have called the officers out there, none of this wouldn't have happened. So that's what I'm saying. And then the officers acted as if somebody is breaking into the home, something is happening, because they got a call about this home. So whoever these neighbors were put these people's lives in a precarious situation where it could have gotten deadly. It could have been a deadly outcome. So after a review of the body cam video, two police officers or officials found no policy violation and indicated officers acted appropriately based on the information available, that the information that was available to them at that time. So the police said the public safety director, Kim Coster, has reached out to Brown and that the department is arranging a meeting. So my big question is who are these people that called the police? And when they were looking at them, did they assume, because of what happened prior, that he had been the same person? This seems like a case of mistaken identity. And not only that, there's that old saying that, mostly all black people look alike. And so I'm wondering who that person was. That's just me saying this. This is sort of in my throw-out opinion that, there are people that do that. They tend to look at people and view people all the same. And so whoever this other person they claim was that was breaking and entering, did they somehow assume, oh, that's got to be the guy again? And the cars sounds like they were a lot different, because they said that the car was a Mercedes and Brown, was driving a Genesis. So I don't know, how you could get those two mixed up. But, maybe the people live across the street. Who knows? We'll never know now. But that, too, also highlights the issues that black people go through daily, being discriminated or being accused of things that they have not done because of a mistaken identity, or they appear to look, or we thought he had. And then you hear these fatalities because there is a profiling going on. And I'm not going to say necessarily that it is 100% all the officers' fault, but the officers do tend to kind of jump to that conclusion right away by taking the hearsay of what someone's phone call is, and not really doing the thorough look about, let's see if this is truly what's going on. It's crazy, and here you got innocent men that could have gotten killed or arrested for something they did not even do. And so that's what we see. There is a lot going on here that could have happened, and we should say what if, because there have been some what ifs that have came to fruition to where people have ended up losing their lives for those what ifs. And so these are 3 black males. And what have we been seeing? We have seen a lot of black men getting killed by police, even on my mistaken identity. And so that is something to be, in our culture, that's something to be alarmed about, even if it was by mistake. By mistake cannot bring your life back. By mistake cannot bring the time that was taken away from you while you were in handcuffs, or you were held in police custody, or you were in jail or prison. You won't get those hours or those minutes back, you know, and only being given an apology with what's been going on doesn't seem like it's enough. I will say that. And that's my opinion. You know, somebody else might look at it through a different lens, and especially you have to think, are you in this culture? How would you feel if that happened to you? And knowing what's going on and knowing that your life could be just snuffed out all behind this mistaken identity, those are the things that you have to consider when you're in a situation like this. And so, two, the other issue that is raised is had it have been a white realtor with a white family, would they have had the police called on them, and would they have come out and drew their guns? Maybe not. And so that's the other issue surrounding this. And so I know, because these are the things that we go through as Black people every day. We live this life. And so we have to live this life where we know that at any moment we could get killed, all behind mistaken identity, all behind a phone call because somebody didn't like what they saw, or they just wanted to prank phone call the police and accuse somebody who they know didn't do it, just to be seeing this end really badly for somebody innocent. So having said that, I'm going to let this go, but not very many people are going to take too well to the officers being supported in a situation like this, I'm sure. But what I would have to say is the big thing, I don't know if there's anything about this, is that it's a good thing that they didn't move into an area where people do what just happened to them, because if they had gotten that house and they lived around neighbors that are like that, who accuse people of things they have not done, or assume that we all look alike, who would have known what it would have been like living around people like that? And having said that, I'm going to let this video go. Thanks for listening.